If you think everything that happens in your life is just random, then maybe you're completely blind to what really matters. Because when the universe wants to speak to you, it doesn't send a certified letter. It sends you signs, repetitions, goosebumps, unlikely encounters, and that feeling of, this can't just be a coincidence. And if you ignore it, the universe turns up the volume. The problem is, most people still think these synchronicities are just fluff, when in reality, they're codes, secret invitations for you to break out of a dull life and wake up to something much greater. Have you ever felt like the world around you was pushing you in a specific direction? Like everything pointing to the same path, even if you keep trying to resist it? Carl Jung called that synchronicity. And no, it's not cheap spiritual talk, it's soul science. And when it starts happening more often, it's not a coincidence. It's the universe knocking loud. The question is, will you open the door? This video isn't just here to explain what synchronicities are. It's here to show you that they're happening right now, while you're listening to me. It's here to teach you how to decode these signs, understand what they're trying to tell you, and most importantly, know exactly what to do with them. Because the ones who learn to listen to the universe change everything. Not tomorrow, now. And if you're really paying attention, maybe this video is the sign you've been waiting for. Have you ever felt like some invisible force was pulling the strings behind the scenes of your life? Like when you meet someone who changes everything, on a day you almost didn't even leave the house? Or when you keep seeing 11:11 during a week filled with doubt? These coincidences aren't just random, they're part of the universe's call. Believe it. When things start lining up like that, synchronicity is in control, and you're exactly where you're meant to be. That's when life really starts to change. Because once you realize that nothing happens by accident, you begin to see how your story is being written with precision. That phrase you overheard in line, that book that fell off the shelf, that mistake that led you down a new path. All of it could be a quiet nudge from the universe. Spiritual awakening often begins like this, subtle, mysterious, but unmistakably clear. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. If you want to experience more of this, start by paying attention. Write things down when something unusual happens. Keep a synchronicity journal. When you see a repeating number like 222 or 555, pause, take a deep breath and ask, what is the universe trying to show me? This simple act of conscious awareness opens the door to a much deeper flow. And from there, more messages will start to appear, clearer and clearer, as if the invisible is finally learning to speak your language. Carl Jung, one of the greatest names in depth psychology, said that not all events can be explained by logic alone. And that's where the concept of synchronicity was born. He believed that certain events are connected not by cause and effect, but by meaning. In other words, when something unusual happens and touches your inner world, it carries a message beyond reason. It's like the universe's call is encoded in these seemingly random episodes, loaded with purpose. Think about dreaming of someone you haven't seen in years, and then they call you the next day. Or going through a dilemma and suddenly overhearing someone say exactly what you needed to hear. Jung called this meaningful coincidence, and said it was the invisible manifesting through the visible. It's like the universe uses the world around you to whisper in your ear. If you're paying attention, you'll understand the message. If not, you might just dismiss it as a silly coincidence. And if you want to develop this sensitivity, here's a tip. Dive into symbols. Read Man and His Symbols by Carl Jung. Pay attention to your dreams and recurring archetypes in your life. The unconscious speaks through images, metaphors, and gestures. And when you start recognizing these patterns, synchronicity becomes a second language. A silent yet powerful one, and if the universe has something to say, it will keep repeating it until you understand. Have you ever noticed how synchronicities often show up during a crisis, when you feel lost, or in times of major transition? That's no coincidence. It's the universe speaking louder, because you're finally ready to listen. Carl Jung said crisis is a bridge to transformation, and the greater the discomfort, the more urgent the call to wake up. And waking up in this context means realizing you weren't born to live on autopilot. These signs aren't just here to comfort you. They're here to push you, to pull you out of your comfort zone and remind you there's another path, one that resonates with the truth of your soul. When synchronicities start intensifying, it's like the universe saying, now, not later. That's why you might be seeing repeated patterns, names, or symbols, as if reality itself is trying to shake you awake. Because in truth, it is. So if this is happening to you, don't ignore it. Write it down, meditate on it, stop for 5 minutes and ask, what am I ignoring that's already obvious? A great practice is using symbolic oracles like the I Ching, or even pulling a tarot card with the question, what do I need to see right now? These tools aren't magic predictions, they're mirrors of the unconscious. And the most amazing part, when you start taking what's repeating seriously, the universe responds. And the answer may not be what you expected, but it will be exactly what you need. The universe's call rarely comes with flashing lights. Most of the time, it disguises itself in small things. A number you keep seeing all day, a song that plays just as you were thinking of someone, or a phrase from a stranger that hits you like a direct answer to your deepest question. These moments are what Carl Jung called synchronicities. Events that aren't causally related, but are deeply and often powerfully meaningful. To recognize these signs, you need to develop a more sensitive kind of listening. Intuition is your compass in this process. If something feels odd but gives you chills, or that this was meant for me feeling, trust it. These experiences aren't random. For example, if you're thinking about changing careers and 3 different people bring it up to you in one day, that might not be coincidence. That could be the universe highlighting, in neon, what you're still trying to ignore in pencil. Here's a practical tip. Create a soul radar. Anytime you notice patterns, repeating names, symbolic animals crossing your path, strong dream images, write them down. After a few days, look for recurring messages. This practice not only strengthens your intuitive connection, it trains you to hear life's whispers before they become shouts. Because the universe starts gentle, but if you keep ignoring it, it finds louder ways to be heard. When the universe's call becomes clear, most people freeze. Not because they don't want change, but because they're afraid. Afraid of leaving their comfort zone, of being judged, of losing control. But here's a secret almost no one talks about. That fear is a sign you're on the right path. Carl Jung said the hero's journey always begins with a "I'm not ready." The good news, you don't have to be. You just have to be willing. Willing to follow, even if you don't know where it's going. The first step isn't to change everything all at once. It's to say yes, internally. It's taking small acts of courage, speaking the truth when you want to stay silent, listening to your gut when it nudges you, making a choice that may seem irrational, but feels deeply true. This could mean turning down a draining job or finally starting that project you've been putting off for months. The key is aligning your actions with the vibration of your calling. Over time, that becomes a spiritual routine. To support your journey, establish small rituals of connection. It could be a 5-minute morning meditation, a tech-free walk, or writing a letter to your future self about the decision you're making today. These practices strengthen your frequency and open a direct line to synchronicity, because the moment you start acting with courage, the universe responds. And when that happens, the invisible doesn't just whisper, it shouts with joy. Now answer me honestly, are you really going to keep calling coincidence something that deep down already feels like a spiritual push? Are you really going to keep ignoring the signs the universe is throwing right in your face, waiting for the right time? as if the universe works around your schedule. Because if you've made it this far, it's because some part of you already knows something greater is trying to wake you up. Synchronicity is showing the way, but no one's going to walk it for you. So tell me, what are you going to do with everything you just heard? Go back to your routine like nothing happened? Or start watching the signs more closely, following your intuition more boldly, and answering the call with real action? And more importantly, what's the strongest synchronicity you've ever experienced? That one moment that made you stop and think, this isn't normal, this is the universe speaking to me. Drop it in the comments. I want to hear your story. And if this video resonated with you, don't let that connection fade. Subscribe to the channel now, hit the bell, and join us on this journey. Because what we share here can change the way you see life. And sometimes, all someone needs to wake up is one single video. Maybe this is yours.